or regional centric, and densification. Starting with Mr. Larson.
Mr. Larson, seat 1.
All right, I think I've already used up the time for one of those questions just in sitting down. Oh boy, 10 seconds for each of those. You know, in terms of open space, we actually have a policy where as developers build new housing, they either have to provide us land for open space or pay an equivalent fee. And that's actually how we're going to expand our open space. Developers are the best at acquiring land, so we're going to leverage them to help get our open space. As far as Plan Bay Area and autonomy versus dictates, and also the RENA housing numbers from ABAG, the RENA numbers don't actually force us to build housing. It's just a requirement on zoning, and actually we have enough land zoned for housing right now that we don't need to change anything. We're just fine on that part. They do also have targets for affordable housing, and that's difficult for everyone. We definitely need to make a good faith effort on that. Transportation is very clearly a regional issue. Even if we stopped building today, put a moratorium in Sunnyvale, we would still have more people driving through the city due to growth in surrounding cities. We'd have more people moving into existing housing. Building housing doesn't necessarily increase growth. It's having babies and more people crowding into housing that increases population.
Andy Fraser, seat 1.
So one of the first questions was regarding sea level rise. And ironically, Sunnyvale's, a lot of our revenue is generated in Moffett Park, which is zoned for our tallest buildings and most office growth. And that is the area that's going to get hit by sea level rise the worst. Right after that will unfortunately be Lakewood Village, Lakewood and Fairview. When it rains here, they get all the flooding because our water's running down towards their neighborhood. There are a number of organizations that are already looking at this. Unfortunately, the only solution if sea level rise, when it does start coming, is going to be seawalls. The entire Bay Area eventually is going to have seawalls, whether you like it or not, because again, the water's going to come in. Second question of the many that I'd like to answer is about Plan Bay Area. How does the city retain its autonomy and manage its own land use with Plan Bay Area going on? You can't. This is a horrible idea. I don't know how we get out of it. I know that many cities are banding together to try to stop it. The only people who really, really benefit from Plan Bay Area are the developers, because now they have a one-stop shop of who they go to pass legislation, to pass the zoning and land use issues. They don't have to hit every single city. And as far as Butcher's Corner, I attended the 2 outreach meetings last week. If I'm on the council, there is no way that 9 to 10 story or even a 5-story project is going to go in there. We need the lowest density possible. Oh, thanks.
Yes, Mr. Huff. Right, no, sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You didn't lose any time because of that mistake.
Please. Tab Merrick, seat 3. Sea level rise, I think we certainly have to start planning for it now. We've got all those mobile home parks out there. There's, I don't know how many, 3,000 different units that are out there that would be subject to damage if the sea rises. ABAG and housing. ABAG says the more jobs you have to bring your housing back into balance. So maybe we shouldn't be adding all these extra jobs, and we shouldn't be exceeding the city's general plan. My opponent consistently votes to exceed the city's general plan. I looked at 10 projects, 7 of them he voted to exceed the city's general plan. As far as the downtown development, I would suggest approaching Cupertino. Peter Paw is now working with them, and I would encourage Cupertino to apply some pressure on Peter Paw to drop his case against Wells Fargo. And Butcher's Corner, nothing over 3 stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin.
Well, 7 out of 10 is an interesting definition for the word consistently, but I'll start with Butcher's Corner because that's easy when I don't support anything over three stories. It's possible they could come along with something that the neighbors say, oh, 4 stories at the end, maybe we're okay with that, but I'm skeptical. So for now, I would say 3 is probably the most we can support there. I think Sea-Rise is the one case where it's pretty clear that we're going to need a regional approach. It is going to involve seawalls or something like that. It really doesn't matter if we build a seawall if Mountain View doesn't. I do want to point out that Gustav was right about RENA and park dedication fees. Park dedication fees are the way we are going to be expanding open space. One of the first votes I cast was to raise our park dedication fee to 4 times what it was when I was running an office. It's now 5 acres per 1,000, and we've now got a whole bunch of developers who, if they want to do something, they're going to give us land. And we have the choice of saying, you're going to give us land or go away. It's going to be a good way for us to expand the open space that we have in Sunnyvale going forward. What else can I talk to? Downtown, one of the things I think we should do is pretty simple, eminent domain. The downside with eminent domain is we have to buy it, which is about $300 million. We've got a developing team in the wings waiting to go forward. We get them to front us the money for it. We vote in eminent domain, and we turn the project over to them. I think that's what we should pursue if the court case on October 9th doesn't go the way that we're hoping it should.
Mr. Bergagna.
Gustavo Magana, seat number 2. And I find it interesting the question about balancing autonomy and being able to work within the region with other cities. I think that we need to be able to work with other cities. I think in the long run, in terms of sea level rise, in terms of just pollution, in terms of all the different things that affect us as a community, we need to be able to work regionally and work collaboratively, because honestly, if each city is doing something different to a varying degree, then we're not going to be as effective. In regard to the other question, that was how much housing is too much housing. I think this is an interesting question, and one of the reasons why we have so many people coming here is because we keep having more jobs opening up. So if people really wanted to stop that, we can, limit the amount of companies that are coming here to build and opening shop here. That's gonna limit a large amount of people that are coming. But on the other hand, I don't really agree with trying to find a way to extensively stop the amount of people who are trying to come here and move and live here. I don't believe in turning away a fellow American and telling them that you're not allowed to live where I live, that you're not allowed to be in the same place that I am. I find that discriminatory and segregationist. And also, I think in terms of housing, I think we need to increase the amount of low-income housing. One interesting and startling statistic I found out today is that 44% of all homeless people are full-time employees, are full-time employed, and that's something that we need to address. A city like Sunnyvale shouldn't have people who don't have homes.
Thank you. Mr. Hendricks.
So on the sea level rise question, that's a regional issue. I think we should go ahead and create some kind of joint working group that would include Mountain View, Palo Alto, Milpitas, Alviso, all those places, because it was pointed out, it's the bay, you need to look at the whole piece of what goes on right there. ABAG doesn't really concern me, or it does not scare me. We should not lose city autonomy for what goes on. ABAG, what it asks for is, do you have zoning? They don't tell you have to actually build something. The city has enough zoning to meet all the ABAG requirements today, and you can't force developers, as much as what everybody says we're bending over backwards to let developers do what they want. You can't build things to do at the rates that ABAG actually asks for. For Butcher's Corner, I'm going to defer on this. The owner of the property there has been a campaign contributor of mine, so I'm recusing myself from that project per FPPC regulations. That's the Fair Political Practice Committee. But I will note that the developer, once his project, people objected to it, he is out working with the community and getting community input, and I don't think they're talking about a 10-story building anymore. I don't know what the answer is going to look like on that. And for the downtown project, I think that is one of the issues. That the current city council has been far too passive on this topic. There's a lawsuit that's going on. The city's not a participant of it, so they've just said, here, we're hands off. We need to use our leadership and influence and try and get the parties outside the courtroom to try and resolve their issue. The city's being harmed by what's going on, and we should use our leadership to try and get them to resolve their issues. It's the #1 issue that comes up when I'm out walking around the city.
Mr. Hoffman.
Yes, on the issue of the rise in waters, One of the things that has been a question that I've always asked, and that was as the city has been approving all these high-rise buildings in the Moffat Park, who's going to pay for flooding when they occur over there? And the consistent answer I've been getting was, well, the property owners will pay for it. Well, that's not what I expected to happen. What I expected to happen is what the candidates are talking about now. Well, now we should go ahead and foot the bill to go ahead and protect all those buildings. So I think we need to get the property owners over there to be paying for a portion of protecting their own buildings. With regard to the downtown, I was pleasantly surprised to hear what the council member had to say. He's been on the council for years and has had many years opportunity to do this. I find it good development that finally he's going to do something about that. With regard to the park dedication fees, the candidates are talking about this fantastic thing called park dedication fees, but all it is, it's money. It's not really creating more open space. It's just money. What do they do with the money? Well, one proposal is to go ahead and rebuild a park activity center. It's not about buying property. What they should do with that money now is go ahead and buy, for example, Butcher's Corner. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very impressed by how prepared and articulate and succinct you've been this evening.